money, that does not mean that hard work is not done. So, even whether male or a female, I am of a strong belief that you have to work hard whether you come from money or not. Because having an own identity, circling back to the concept of respect, if you have a strong independent identity, you end up gaining respect. Irrespective whether the money is coming in quickly or money is coming in slowly, identity is what gets you respect, and self respect is absolutely important. Having boundaries is important. So, these are things which are, I think, in today's world, for anybody, any age group, are an absolute non negotiable. So, these should not be compromised with.
Absolutely, I agree with the points you have mentioned. Especially if you earn by yourself, you can showcase to the world that I myself, I independently made
And you
this
will be
level,
happy
make
about
this
it.
level. Sorry.
And you'll be happy about it also when you start
Yeah.
earning whether irrespective. I'm not saying that you have to earn a lot of money. If you're making 50, 60,000 a month, I'm just saying
Hmm. Yeah.
it's not a small amount. I won't say that.
Hmm.
But if you're making that kind of a decent amount, you're giving some amount to the family, you're saving some for yourself, but you'll still be satisfied with whatever you're doing. Whether you are buying things on a daily, weekly basis or not, if not, it's all right. You are still happy about what you're doing. Similarly, a person who's earning 25,000 to 30,000, let's go lower. The family might not require that. That's a young kid just fresh out of a good college, and the parents
Hmm.
have their own pensions and everything. But they're still satisfied that this 25,000 is my earning. I am doing it for whatever
Hmm.
I want. I am not dependent on anybody. That feeling, whether a boy or a girl, is very important. So, sidelining human assets should not be done. For girls, I am a spokesperson for that. I don't know, because being an advocate or something, but I feel if there is a woman in the house, a young girl,
Hmm.
20 years to 30 years old,
Hmm.
if she is very well educated, why shouldn't she work? I'm not saying she has to provide for the house. Fine, don't. Do it for yourself. Whatever kind of
Hmm.
work that you want to do, you want to work from home, you want to go on in a office and work, you want to have your own practice, whatever it is. But it is very important to work. So that should be the mindset going on. And that again comes from the kind
Absolutely.
of environment in the environment that the family also provides. So it's important.
What extent do you agree that money brings a lot of respect and recognition? Do you think that it's actions or money?
See, that's a very, very diplomatic topic, to be very honest. And there are a lot of interpretations on this very topic. There are a lot of viewpoints that you can take, and there can be multiple roads which lead to the same thing. But there are different outcomes and different interpretations. To start with one, if you say that money brings a lot of respect, see, you have to understand what the other person's perspective on money is. Every individual has a different perspective on money. If, for example, you are talking to a child who comes from an extremely wealthy background, I'm talking a teenager or a fresh 21-year-old or somebody. Some some people from an extremely wealthy background they've only seen money. They've only seen the idea that if you have money, you get respected. I'm not saying that is the case, but that can be the case. If you talk to somebody who you
Hmm.
understand has worked very hard throughout their life, does not come from a super wealthy background, at the end of the day, what I feel is that value of money is what actually makes you gain respect about money, through which your perspective about the whole idea of money, respect, and happiness are interlinked. If you talk to a 4-year-old child, they might not know what money is, what value money holds. If you give an envelope of cash that we do on the child's birthday or on festivals, the child
Hmm.
does not relish that. A little kid will not enjoy.
Hmm.
For them, they would enjoy a toy, something that it's tangible, they can hold. They might not like dresses also at that age.
Yeah.
You give a t-shirt or a
Hmm.
frock to the kid, they might not enjoy it. They might not relish it as much. Their definition of happiness
Hmm.
at that age is very different. For a person our age, in their, late 20s and early 30s and all of that, if you talk to them, their idea is very different. If you talk to Gen Z, their idea of respect and money is very different. They are very minimalistic.
Yeah.
You talk to them, they don't believe, some people don't even believe in financial assets, yet they have a lot of respect. Like, for example, saints. We
Hmm.
worship the
Yeah.
saints in our culture, in
Hmm.
India. They don't have a lot of money. They don't
Hmm.
have a lot of assets. They move from one place to another, but they have a lot of knowledge. Knowledge
Hmm.
that we at our age, at our level, or even at their age, at that level, we will not be able to attain. So, respect is not sheerly tied to money, it is with the person's perspective, which is what views money, respect, and materialistic pleasures interlinked to each other. So, that is my opinion. Like, what is your opinion on this?
So in Indian society, in my opinion, okay, so in Indian society, we think like if you have the lot of money, then
Yeah.
you will get that kind of respect and the recognition. Okay. They value that time as well. If you come for a 15 minutes or 20 minutes to any function, right? They will give you that kind of priority. Okay. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have money, and they will take it as a lightly as well, right? They will not
Yeah,
give that focus and priority to that person. So I observed
absolutely.
this thing. So while starting initially in my career, right? So I didn't think about money. I need to earn this kind of money. I need to earn, let's say, 50,000 per month from the salary. I didn't have that kind of option in my mind. I used to think that if I work hard, I will get sufficient money. But
Mm-hmm.
over the experience, I realized that if you work hard, but if
Mm-hmm.
you don't ask the money, let's say if I this kind of skills that I have, let's say if I want this kind of money, then I need to be proactively suggest, let's say, suggest or share that things to the organization such a way that they will give that kind of appraisal in the right in the
Absolutely.
organization. So these kind of things I compare, but in terms of society, right, they look, actually they don't think about how much knowledge you have, but they check how materialistic you have, the white kind of things you have, right, the appearance that attract a lot of people in terms of
Yes,
knowledge that you have.
absolutely. That is there.
But in today's generation, in today's generation, we are running behind the money. Okay,
Mm.
it happens with everyone, like not with poor people, middle class and higher class. Even they are also running behind the money. But rich people attracts a lot of money. But in terms of like middle class, lower middle class, they are not able to attract that kind of money. So, what are the main reasons that rich people attracts more money and that other people are not able to attract more money to, let's say, maintain at least decent lifestyle during till the lifetime they have in this world.
See, I'll tell you what we've seen over the years. So, if you come from a
Hmm.
lower income background, your task, you have seen your parents struggle. Like in a given situation, if
Hmm.
somebody comes
Hmm.
from a lower income background, they've seen their father work really hard. First of all, this very idea of patriarchy, matriarchy is very different in India, where patriarchy is taking over.
Hmm.
Initial
Hmm.
concept. Now that there is equality and women are going out and working, I'm talking about n number of years ago. Right. At
Hmm.
that time, people had seen their fathers only go to work, their mothers taking care of the
Hmm.
household and people in the house and taking care of the kids and everything. With that, so the entire burden of the house was on one member, one earning
Hmm.
member. Now, that idea was passed down to the son in the family that you have to take
Hmm.
care of everybody, including the father when he retires. Right. Now, with this kind of a concept, his task was to provide for everybody. So, whatever minimal he was earning out of that, it was going back to the household. Now, with this very concept in the entire house, this cycle is something which keeps on repeating. Why? Because they've realized that getting a 9 to 5 job or a job that constantly pays you is a much safer option. Why? Because there is some sense of security. Or taking a government job. Why do people in certain areas or certain backgrounds think that government job is the safest option? Because of job security purposes. So for them, this cycle went on and on again. And the boy or the person of the house at that age,
Hmm.
at that time, was providing for grandparents, for his parents, for his wife, for his children, maybe his sister's wedding or whatever, whatever. I'm just taking a very hypothetical example in this case. So he
Hmm.
was providing for everybody. And the burden
Hmm.
that if he was said, like he was at that
Hmm.
time, I'm saying if his job was giving him 25,000 rupees, imagine if he was only saving 5,000 for
Hmm.
himself and the rest 20,000 were going. So, how do you think there could be any savings? He was just running the house. I'm not saying he's building a future. And the same idea would have gone to his kids.
Hmm.
For n number of years, that kept on happening.
Hmm.
Right. So, for the very idea to make something of your own, they did not have the gift of taking time off from work because the house would stop running. They did not have
Hmm.
that they could think of starting something of their own. They did not have the capital saved that they could start a business of their own, which would have made them earn higher. So for them, the financial trajectory in the house was very slow, with the needs and demands
Hmm.
of the society obviously matching to that level. So expenditure was, even though the income was high, the expenditure was equally high at that time. Only the amounts and the ratios varied. Now you're talking about somebody who comes from a super wealthy background. Imagine they have a business. The son or the daughter
Hmm.
take over the business. They want to expand it globally. They are only expanding
Hmm.
it. They come from a business background. They come from a background which has learned either you do something of your own. They have a safety net in the house. They know even if I don't work, my father or somebody is in the house who's working, it's already set up. We will be financially safe. I have the time and luxury to plan and start something of my own or join that business. That is why the rich are only getting richer and the middle class, like you said, I'm talking about lower middle class, where kind of they are just trying to make it through the day. If we talk about somewhere in between, the father or the mother might be working. Over the years the things have changed, they might be working, they might be retired, they have pensions, but they want the kid to do better.
Hmm.
So they would invest more in the kid's education. The kid would go to a big company. But now, considering the current scenario, the kids are of the idea that I don't want to do this. Maybe I'll try it out for a couple of years, then I will do something of my own, or I will do that. They keep on changing what they exactly want to do. There is no stability now. But I am not saying that they are not earning well. So times will also change, the capacities will also change, the requirements for a job or a business will also change, mindsets change. As a result, the financial gap between different classes, it is very erratic. But again, if we look at the negative side of
Hmm.
this, the person who has a job, he might lose his job. The person who has a business, it might just fall apart. So it's there is there is no 100% security anywhere. And with the coming times and with AI coming in and AI planning to replace a lot of things, I think a lot of areas in this concern are endangered by the idea of AI, because human power and human effort to do that work could be replaced by AI to do the same work within a couple of minutes. So I think that kind of varies around that.
Exactly. So in terms of AI, right,
Yeah,
it's affecting countless lives, right? Every single day, we are
absolutely.
not able to recognize how fast the world is moving. Every single new year, every year, we are getting new AI, new software, new tool coming out in the market. We are not
Absolutely.
catch up with that AI trends, right?
Yes.
And
That is true.
and
Yeah.
in today's generation, right, people are very experimental with their careers. Okay,
Mhm.
they have a lot of opportunity in terms,
Yeah.
but in 90s kid, we have only one opportunity where we used to tend to do a job only. If they have
Yes.
business, they continue their business.
Exactly.
But if right now, if you think about the Gen Z, there are a lot of options to
Oh,
explore,
yes.
right? They have financial stability coming from the parents itself.
Yes.
So where rich people, they are very strict, they are very disciplined, and they are very consistent. Okay, they don't waste that time in wherever they want, but they are very strict about their time schedule and everything, health
Yes.
as well as wealth. Okay, but if I escape, if I leave those people, right, and then let's say if we compare the middle class and the lower class, right? They are just, they enjoy their life, okay? They just spend a lot of time, they enjoy a lot of things, but small moments, but they enjoy a lot in the life. Okay,
Yeah.
but in terms of rich people, I feel myself, they don't enjoy that much. They think
Mhm.
about the family, the legacy. Okay, they think a lot about that. So, what is your opinion in that? So, do you think the people who are there in the middle class and lower class, they are enjoying more life, or the people who are there in the upper class, they are enjoying the more life?
See, I'll tell you, everybody's definition of enjoyment is very, very different. If you ever come across people
Hmm.
who don't even have proper houses, if the kids are playing around, if there are a bunch of kids who are playing around, they'll be the happiest people on earth. So it's about perspective, it's about access to facilities and what you make the best out of it. People who have a lot of money, I'm not saying they don't have problems, they will have problems at their own level also. People from a lower income background will also have problems. But how, what kind of problems do you have? How do you deal with the problems? To what level are you satisfied with your life? Whether you want to push through more? How are your relationships within the family with each other? So there are n number of factors which actually matter on the happiness level. So if you just take money as a monetary factor of
Hmm.
happiness, which I don't think is the only factor, health, wealth, happiness, like we always say. So if family
Hmm.
also matters, health also matters, the kind of situations also matter. Imagine a businessman who has n number of crores is caught up in a debt that he is unable to
Hmm.
repay. How do you think he's happy? At the same time, if a person does not have money but he's running the house on a daily wage, but he has no other problems to worry about except for that he's just trying to make it work through the day. So he has a smaller problem in comparison to somebody who has a lot of money, but yet it is not enough. So, the comparative factor is always there. Sometimes we don't know because we don't know what happens behind closed doors. It is just one-sided perspective. So I would say that, that's the same concept as, judging a book by its cover. It's the same logic behind this. So I think that should not be done in my perspective.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own problems, their own struggles. So considering that, I think it's just perspective.
Absolutely. The profound message you have shared, the don't judge book by its cover, right?
Absolutely.
So usually in social media, right? In social media, we tends to compare, we tends to watch a lot of reels regarding how he is enjoying the life, he's getting a
Yeah.
lot of international vacations, he's roaming around the world, he's
Yeah.
sharing that happy moments in the reels, right? When we ourselves hook to the reels, and then we feel like what I'm doing in the life if I compare to that, right? So we are building this kind of mindset by comparing a lot of other people, by watching random reels and a lot of things.
Absolutely. So that is there, I think, but social media is also very fake.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So sometimes you don't know what is
that's
happening.
true.
And social media is, I think, a very sweet escape for a lot of people from reality. And I'm not saying that people are not doing very
Hmm.
good. Social media also offers a very good platform to reach out to the masses for some important messages and bringing about a revolution. I mean, it has its pros and cons. But if you're only inspired by people who are taking international vacations, they might be going on a business trip. Then they might be working as hard as possible. Then there might be other
Hmm.
factors also. As simple as that, because they might be going for a purpose that they are not showing. They might be going with family, but they don't want to show it. So we don't know exactly what they are doing and how they are going. Maybe they already have family there, so they are visiting, so they are cutting down on costs. But you think, oh my God, they have so much money that they can afford it. See, it's a number of things. So we don't know exactly what happens. We just see that photo
Absolutely.
and then we
So
just
social,
want, yeah, we just see what we want to see. As
hmm.
simple as.
absolutely. We see the positive side of the reels, but we didn't able to see the negative side, like the kind of hard work they put in creating that kind of reel and the
Ab-
efforts they put in, right? So we see only the positive side of that. We are not able to realize that they are putting a lot of efforts into that.
Completely,
So,
completely. Yeah.
so in today internet era, right? I myself I realized like there are people thinking about the financial stability and building assets, and I saw a lot of people around me as well in the whenever I visit any function or anything, right? I see people are more discussing about financial stability and building assets, building businesses, and a lot of things.
Yeah.
So is this is a good thing that I've seen around the people.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's actually creating an impact as well.
See, if you're only talking about financial assets all the time, what else do
Yeah.
you have to do? Like, what are you not looking into doing in your life? Like, if that is the only concern and criteria of living your life, how are you living your life? Because the rest of the time you're working to build that kind of financial assets. So then
Yeah,
you're not doing
but yeah, that's there. But somehow people from a let's say very humble background, they don't have
it.
that kind of money. They have seen that, yeah, they are not seen that kind of money to
Mhm.
enjoy that certain extent of the life. So
Yeah.
because of that, they are putting so much efforts. They are watching that kind of reels, saying that let's say if I'm struggling, but my kid, my generation, let's say the future generation coming from my side, right? They don't
Mhm.
want to struggle in the future. Because of that, people are building that kind of assets. Let's say if people don't have the money, okay, but they are saving for at least that initial amount for buying a new house. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's say they are spending that they are creating that little amount of money for the deposit, then rest of the money I take from the let's say home loan or any kind of loan to purchase that home, and then we will give that home to the rent so that it will pay a little amount of that EMI. And at least let's say in 30 years, in 40 years, once that home loan is clear, that
Yeah.
home will create an asset for the future generation. It's not, I'm not there for let's say 30 40, like I will be there for 30 40, but not more than that, right? So that
Mhm.
home will be create an asset for the future generation that is coming from my side.
All right. Yeah, so that is fine. That is financial future planning. That
Yeah.
is one thing. You are making your future secure. You are thinking on a long-term platform. See, you have hypothetically, if I say somebody has a job, and then somebody
Hmm.
says, I will retire from the job, and it's not a government job, but I'm not going to get a
Hmm.
pension for it, even if I retire after 30, 40 years of working. Let's hypothetically say. So, at a certain age, at some point in your life, if you feel you've made that kind of money where you can kind of extract some amount, buy another property, invest in it, and put it on rent so that your regular income does not stop even till that point. And whatever rent that you get, the loans can be paid, and you can save up on some money for your child's future, for your future, because you never know at old age what happens, you know.
Hmm.
So you have to
Yep.
have some sort of solid savings for that in case of a financial or medical emergency or any other purpose. For that matter of fact, you need to have a safety amount for yourself also. You want to get your kids married, you want to get them settled, you don't know what Gen Z is going to do, whether they will actually have a job or not. So you are just there prepared that we have a backup for everything. So that is not wrong. But if you can only talk in terms of money, like if you go to a
Yeah.
party, if you go to a corporate event, you just go to the high level people and you're having a conversation. All they can talk about is how much money is somebody is making. If they bought a dress, how much is it for? If they bought a car, how much is it for? If they've gone a vacation, how much that was for? So that entire trajectory of their life is only financial. So they don't know exactly. Like if you ask them, how did your vacation go? Oh, I spent so much money. I mean, to one extent, when you retire from a high post, which is not a government post, you're not going to make that money. What are you going to do? What if your kid comes and says, I don't want to work? What are you going to do with that kind of money? So that is what is important, I think. So yeah.
Yes, but yeah, but when I see some families, right? So
Mhm.
one generation where I see they sacrifice their entire life to build the assets for the future generation. Okay.
Yeah,
So I saw this one person in every family where they sacrifice one entire life to build the assets for the future
yeah,
generation. Okay,
yeah,
but I saw other family as well. So that one person, right? I'm talking of in the other family. So the one person in the separate family. Okay, perfect. So I was talking about the other family who is enjoying his life, and whatever the money is earning, he's happy with this in that limit itself. Okay, when the medical emergency or something comes unexpectedly, right? He visit public hospital where everything is general. Okay, they don't give you any priority. Your health is considered as another life. Okay,
yeah,
just like that, they don't give that kind of priority. But if you talk about the other person who is sacrifice his entire life and build the assets, and once he get unexpected situation, right, he able to visit to that privileged hospital, privileged services in the life, right?
yeah. See, what happens in this case is that the person comes from a very humble background and they've made their way to go up top. They would want to buy the best of the things. The person who's worked hard for it. They've worked hard,
Yeah,
they've made that kind of money, they would want the best out of it. As simple as that. If I say you're earning 100 crores a year,
yeah.
don't you think you would take at least 2 to 3 international vacations with your family? You would give some money, you would invest a lot of money, you will buy properties. That goes without saying, right? You would upgrade your lifestyle if you have upgraded your income, right? But to the kid in that house who's newly born or who's 5 6 years old, he has not seen the struggle. For them, the perspective is only to enjoy money. They're like, yeah,
Hmm.
this is there,
Yep.
so why should I work? Some kids might have this
Yeah.
perspective. Some kids come from money, but they
Hmm.
feel, oh, I also need
Yeah.
to do something of my own. Although I have a very strong backing, but I will do something of my own. Here is where parental upbringing, ideologies, morals, and values kick in. So it is not exactly about just money. It is about realizing how you make money. Whether you want the easy way out,
Hmm.
whether you want to work hard for it, whether you don't want to do anything and just get married into a family which has a lot of money and do nothing. But then, as a human being, what is your value is my question. You can't always just keep a human asset sidelined. Just because you were born in money, that does not mean that hard work is not done. So, even whether male or a female, I am of a strong belief that you have to work hard whether you come from money or not. Because having an own identity, circling back to the concept of respect, if you have a strong independent identity, you end up gaining respect. Irrespective whether the money is coming in quickly or money is coming in slowly, identity is what gets you respect, and self respect is absolutely important. Having boundaries is important. So, these are things which are, I think, in today's world, for anybody, any age group, are an absolute non negotiable. So, these should not be compromised with.
Absolutely, I agree with the points you have mentioned. Especially if you earn by yourself, you can showcase to the world that I myself, I independently made
And you
this
will be
level,
happy
make
about
this
it.
level. Sorry.
And you'll be happy about it also when you start
Yeah.
earning whether irrespective. I'm not saying that you have to earn a lot of money. If you're making 50, 60,000 a month, I'm just saying
Hmm. Yeah.
it's not a small amount. I won't say that.
Hmm.
But if you're making that kind of a decent amount, you're giving some amount to the family, you're saving some for yourself, but you'll still be satisfied with whatever you're doing. Whether you are buying things on a daily, weekly basis or not, if not, it's all right. You are still happy about what you're doing. Similarly, a person who's earning 25,000 to 30,000, let's go lower. The family might not require that. That's a young kid just fresh out of a good college, and the parents
Hmm.
have their own pensions and everything. But they're still satisfied that this 25,000 is my earning. I am doing it for whatever
Hmm.
I want. I am not dependent on anybody. That feeling, whether a boy or a girl, is very important. So, sidelining human assets should not be done. For girls, I am a spokesperson for that. I don't know, because being an advocate or something, but I feel if there is a woman in the house, a young girl,
Hmm.
20 years to 30 years old,
Hmm.
if she is very well educated, why shouldn't she work? I'm not saying she has to provide for the house. Fine, don't. Do it for yourself. Whatever kind of
Hmm.
work that you want to do, you want to work from home, you want to go on in a office and work, you want to have your own practice, whatever it is. But it is very important to work. So that should be the mindset going on. And that again comes from the kind
Absolutely.
of environment in the environment that the family also provides. So it's important.
Absolutely. But today generation, I believe everyone is like even
Hmm.
boys, girls, both are working together to
Yes,
to match that kind of lifestyle
absolutely. Absolutely.
because of the today's generation, right? People looks how you are looking, how your smells as
Yeah.
well, how kind of appear the
Everything like
appearance.
everything is judged.
Yeah, so everything is just because of that. People are so they are independent as well. They are thinking about the future as well. They are thinking a lot in the ground as well. So what kind of skills I have, what kind of money I am bringing in the house, what kind of investment that I am doing for the future generation, what is my retirement plan, and people are thinking about all these things in the today generation. But back
Absolutely.
in those days, we are not that much thinking about a lot actually, right?
That is true. That is true. But things have changed, times have changed, people have evolved, mindsets have evolved. We don't even know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. What kind of an ideological change is going to happen, whether in the education system, whether in the financial system, with the integration of AI, what our lives are like in the next 10 years. It's a different ballgame with the kind of
Yeah.
scientific advancements happening at a very fast pace now.
Mm,
So we don't know what our lives might look like 3 years down the line. I'm taking 10 years, which is a long period of time. So if we
yeah,
look back to the times then when we were children, how things were done in a household versus now how things are done in a household, it's poles apart. We might not have thought that this would happen or these kind of changes will happen. So we've seen that paradigm shift. We've seen those things happen and change. So I think it's important to realize that.
absolutely, ma'am. I think I think we can wrap the sessions. 2 minutes
Yeah,
left
because
for the
I have
session.
another session, sadly. So I was
Yeah,
just about to bring this up.
no problem. So I really enjoyed the conversation.
Likewise.
I was able to understand the both perspective as well. Okay, and it was really insightful as well.
Likewise. Likewise. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.